Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or should I say, gezuar, Dita de Ver. It is the officially celebrated spring day, or the turn of the equinox, here in Tirana, Albania. It also just happens to be my birthday today. So, how am I celebrating here in our kitchen classroom? I am making my absolute favorite meal on the planet. It's Eggs Benedict. And I'm going to start by rolling out the English muffins for our base. Oh, it's going to be so great. Come on down here. I'll chit chat with you a little bit as we walk through the process. All right, so I'm going to just tilt you down here so that you can see this beautiful wooden board. This nice smooth wood was one of the many purchases that we have made since landing here in Albania last summer in order to really enhance the workspace here in our kitchen classroom. And I have missed working on wood like this since our very first trip to Sicily 3 years ago. And this is the perfect place to really get in that therapeutic dough kneading process, which is what I was doing this morning as I was mixing up the dough for our English muffins. Now you can see that it started off, it was just a ball of dough down here, and it's been sitting in the sun to rise, and now it's about to explode out of here. So I'm going to dust the surface here. We need some flour, and I'm also going to use a little bit of cornmeal. So this is one of those key things that you always find on the outer crust of an English muffin. It's going to help make sure that it not just doesn't stick, but it's going to give it that wonderful crunchy texture too. All right, so I'm going to tip out the dough onto our work surface here, and English muffins are the base for Eggs Benedict. For those of you who aren't familiar with the dish, it is a very popular brunch dish that consists of a bread base, and there's usually a protein, Canadian bacon, ham. I tend to like gravlax or cured salmon. And oh, that dough is so lovely. There, I got some on this side. I'm just gonna flip it over so it's got that nice cornmeal floured crust all over the top. Oh, that's just beautiful. And feel it, see how springy and soft and gentle it is to the touch. Oh, so on the English muffin base, we get our protein, like I said, Canadian bacon, ham. I think we're gonna use prosciutto today, and a poached egg, and then it's all enrobed in a luscious, lemony hollandaise sauce. Oh, it's so good. All right, so I'm just gonna use my rolling pin to gently flatten out this dough, make it a little bit bigger, so that we can cut out our English muffins. I've done this a number of different ways. This is a drier dough than I've worked with before, but I think that's gonna serve us well here as we get ready to, oh, that's good. Roll out this dough. Now, usually you want a straight-sided cutter for this, and I am actually going to be using a wine glass today. That's right. Wine glasses are not just for getting tipsy at brunch. I'm going to dip this in my flour. What we really want is a nice straight-sided cut that's going to help slice through the edges of the dough, but it's not going to tear at it. You can use a regular glass. I chose this wine glass because it has sharper edges, which is what I want to cut through the dough. And it's a nice size, in my opinion. Boom, there we go. And then it should peel out pretty easily. Oh, look at that. That worked pretty well. All right, so I'm gonna keep flouring and cutting my dough. This has been a wonderfully therapeutic process while we're here on lockdown in Tirana, Albania, because of the current coronavirus. How many of you guys are on lockdown where you are? I thought it was kind of crazy that people were making a run on panic buying flour and sugar and yeast and baking powder. Some of those things disappeared really quickly on the first day of the lockdown in our local stores. But I guess there are lots of Albanian women who are baking like I'm doing right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if I can get maybe 2 more out of this. Anyway, our stores are fully stocked again. We haven't had problems purchasing common ingredients, but I already commonly have cake flour, a stronger white flour for bread baking, and sugar and baking powder and yeast, so that wasn't a problem here. Let me make sure I got a nice cut in there. Boom. All right, so you see the glass worked out well. We've got these nice little cuts of our dough. I'm gonna peel off the excess strips here. Oh, come on, peel off. And then we're gonna take these over to our cutting surface. Come on over here. Let me show you where this is going. I'm just gonna move you over here to the opposite counter where I have a baking sheet that's been prepared with a little strip of baking paper. I just used my scissors to cut it out around the edges so that it fits down in here nicely. And all I'm gonna do is put the pieces over here so that they can rest. This dough has already risen once. As I said, it was just sitting in the sunlight, allowing it to rise in shape. And I kind of flattened it down, and now we're gonna cover it, and we're gonna let these rise again. And after this second rise, then we're gonna go ahead and cook them up. And this is gonna be so lovely. Now for the second rise, I'm just gonna cover it with a towel. And I happen to love this towel. It's really beautiful. I don't know how much you can see of that big, beautiful fish there, but it has one of my favorite proverbs on there, which of course says, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. And I love feeding people for a day. If you've been following us here at our kitchen classroom, you know that. But you also know the rest of that proverb and how that finishes, right? Because of course, when you teach a man to fish, then what happens? Then you have that skill. He can continue to feed himself again and again for a lifetime. And that is exactly what we're doing here at our kitchen classroom. We want to teach you how to fish, how to bake, how to enjoy the process of nourishing yourself and those that you love, because we want you to be able to sustain, to nourish yourself for a lifetime. Now, this is a skill that has proven especially important now during this terrible health crisis that we're seeing all over the world. Like us, if you've been locked down, you're under quarantine-like protocols, there's not a lot to do except be inside. And this is the best time to share that joy, to spread love and compassion, to educate ourselves while we're practicing social distancing, and of course, to teach and to feed and to nourish one another, to nourish our creativities, to nourish our joyous spirits, and most of all, to nourish one another, to know that when we work together, when we stay positive, when we uplift one another, we can get through this. And I know we will come through this better and stronger than ever before. While we're working through this process, you want to come and learn with us? Come experience joy with us? We want to teach you how to fish. So come on over and join us on the playground. I'll leave the link in the video comments below. I can't wait to see you on the inside. And I can't wait to enjoy these English muffins for my special birthday brunch here from Tirana, Albania. I'll see you guys again in the next video. Take care.